Hi, welcome to Pain and Revival podcast, episode 3. All You Need Is Love is today's title. I stole that from the Beatles, so hopefully no copyright, but I think all you need is love. That's the most valid statement ever. Love is the most amazing thing, but it can also be really hard and bad thing. But in my opinion, love is just as essential as eating. Without love, you can't survive. You can survive. But you would be surviving. You wouldn't be living. And why would you just survive when you can live? I love living. I'd rather live than just survive, which is why I left, my family, because I wanted to live and not just survive. I'm going to share a quote with you today. It's by C.S. Lewis. It was sent to me when I was asking for some help by one of I adore this woman. She's amazing. I'm not going to name her name, but she's really amazing. And she sent me this quote by C.S. Lewis, and I'm going to read it. So, to love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything, and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully around with hobbies and little luxuries, and avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness, but in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. To love is to be vulnerable. C.S. Lewis. So the reason I chose to share that with you is because it's such a true thing. Like, you cannot love, but you're going to become really cold. You're going to become a cold person. You're going to it's going to seem like you have nothing to live for. Nothing's going to be the same. You're going to be surviving and not living. Like I was saying, I think it really puts how hard it is to love into perspective, because loving is to love is to be really vulnerable. I love to love, but I'm really hard at receiving love, and giving love is just as important as receiving love, and the other way around. And I had to understand that receiving love is so important. It's just as important as giving love. I was so heavily focused on giving and giving and giving, but I never allowed myself to get. And you have to have moderation. You have to have a balance of giving love and getting love. Because if you get too much love, you might become a little full of yourself and might let it go to your head. But if you don't get enough love, you're going to become really insecure and you're going to be really hard on yourself. And for me, that's a struggle. I don't allow myself to receive love. I put up walls and I'm like, well, that person didn't really mean that. They just said that. No, they actually meant that. I know it's hard to believe, Nevaeh, but they actually meant it. So allow yourself. So what I do is in the mornings, I do the 49 breaths, which is a thing we do in chiropractic. I always do it. 7, you start with 7 breaths, and then you do 3 sets of 14 breaths. And in between the breaths, you do affirmations. And I always say, I am open to receiving love. And when I do the affirmations, I do it as if I was speaking to God. Because not as if I was, I'm speaking to God. And so in the mornings, I close my eyes and I do my breaths and I ask God to allow me to receive love and allow me to give it. Um, and for Him to use me as a vessel. And He does. And I think He does. And I'm so thankful that I get to do that every morning. And I recommend you doing it as well. It's really great. It really helps me out. Also, like, you need love. Like, you need it. Well, okay, maybe you don't need love, but if not, your life won't really be a life. You would be just living, not living. You would become a cold and dreary type of a person. And that's, you ever meet a person and they're just so, like you don't want to be around them. They really bring you down. You kind of get that vibe, like you're like, oh, I'm so depressed when I'm around this person. This person really makes me really depressed. Not because of anything, you know, it's literally simply just because they have locked their heart away and they are no longer receiving love nor giving it. They're just being. And that is what happens when you don't love. That's who you will become if you don't choose to be vulnerable and let yourself love. I guess the choice is yours, but I would say choose wisely. I'm going to leave you with one question. Would you rather love or no heartbreak? Would you rather be cold and dreary or upbeat and uplifting? Choice is yours. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I really hope that it helps someone. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you so much. Bye.